if you go to European and any places where people aren't so mobile, you find they have a history, they have a memory, they have a secular liturgy, they have practices. So that's what we're missing. So the addictiveness of consumption is a mask for the longing for that connectedness. It's reconstituting neighborhood as place, as the point. And the idea that in every neighborhood there's enough. And people can find a livelihood, they can raise children, do everything that matters. And it's an alternative to consumer culture, which believes that you have to, whatever you need, you can purchase. I can outsource the raising of my child, my health, my safety. I can depend on other people and try to get them to pay me more as a wage laborer. So the neighborhood is the antidote. It's the alternative to that I can find a way that my children can be known in a neighborhood. And, the general umbrella is building community, but that means everything. Some people think you're building community if you're part of an internet. But without the senses, which only comes from being in the room. So anytime we communicate and we're not in the room together, it's senseless. No smell, no touch, no taste. And so that's been the work, is to build neighborliness, covenantal neighborliness. That's the dream. I think modernity has colonized indigenous culture, local culture, memory, sense of place. Is to be modern is to be mobile, upwardly mobile, laterally. That's what it's sold as, and it's called standard of living. There's no indigenous culture, no historical culture that had the language standard of living as something I want to raise. Now, the argument against the old culture was there's no place to go. But if you go to European and any places where people aren't so mobile, you find they have a history, they have a memory, they have a secular liturgy, they have practices. So that's what we're missing. So the addictiveness of consumption is a mask for the longing for that connectedness, for a history. If our youth were at risk, this is what they're at risk of, is having no history, place, memory. The family has nothing to hold it together, nothing. And you see it coming back, coming back into the center, into the city. But the economic structure of modernism, which is the free market consumer ideology, that's reached its limit. It can't pay us anymore. So who knows what's going to happen. But it's not remembering, it's not going back to indigenous cultures. It makes me uncomfortable when we hire indigenous people to run workshops for us. I don't want to do Navajo dances. I don't want people from Colombia telling me about cosmology. That is exploiting them in a whole nother way. I'm not interested in African culture coming over here and putting them on a stage. And to me, that's another form of colonization. I'm using them now for my insight. But in you and I, there is a soul, a DNA, a memory of being part and belonging to something. Something in my bloodstream carries my faith. I'm not optimistic. I'm not someone who's terribly hopeful. I've lost interest in progress, but I've never stopped having faith.